it's Sam, and I'm talking about the second house in Vedic astrology. So the second house comes after the first house. So where we have this physical body, we incarnate with a physical body and our unique identity. One of the main things that happens is after we have the physical body itself, and also we have like the body part is the top of the head in the first house. What do we do with that physical body? Well, we need to feed it, we need to eat, we speak, we express ourselves, we have values, we have language, we have words, we have food. All of these things revolve around the second house. Now, often the second house is sort of codified around money because, we try to homogenize, or as I say, codify deep astrological principles around simple things that we can grasp. Like in the first video when I talked about the first house as the physical body, that implies a whole lot. The physical body and what that implies as the first house is very deep. Same way with the second house. When we talk about our money, what are we doing with our money? How does our money evolve? It's actually an extension of our values and what we value the most, literally on a personal level. It has to do with our personal values. And so the personal values that are associated with the second house first come from, for instance, our childhood. That's why the second house has a lot to do with our childhood and how we were raised, how we feel about the people that raised us. Because we inherited those values first. The evolving relationship we have with our values and the people that are implicated in them is the evolutionary process of the second house. So the way you would experience that in your life now would be things like your friends and the family that you choose. You didn't choose the family you were born into. As you get older, certain members of that family you were born into don't really make the cut of the family you choose, right? The family you choose is an extension of your evolving, unique value system based on your unique identity, which we talked about in the first house. That's what that is. So that unique identity takes shape and takes a form in the second house. One of the things to understand is the second house is very much about the form and the structure of things. That's why it includes things like your money, because your money are an extension of your values. And you take your money and go out and buy something that reflects your values. You don't take your money and buy stuff that you don't like. So this is why the second house, again, has to do with things like your possessions. Your possessions are related to the second house as well. That includes, for instance, your clothes. That's why clothes are second house. Values are second house. Food is second house. Look at what happens as your values change. You take your money and you buy different kinds of food once your values change. You don't keep eating at, fast food restaurants as you start to get older and you start to value your physical body more. And also your physical body isn't able to digest that crap anymore. But also as your values change, even things like your, the quality of your food in the sense of, becoming maybe even like vegetarian or more purified in your diet, your habits and routines. Also very important second house things. Where you take your physical body, your environment. And again, diet, huge in that area of life. So you want to understand, there's this, the body parts that are associated with each house. First house was our entire physical body because it is the body, but it was also the top of the head, which is what's leading us. But then the second house is the face and all of the facial organs, where we see, even when the sun is bright, see, smell, taste, hear, and take in our environment to feed the body. We're feeding the body so the body can live. So what we're feeding it has a lot to do with our values. Of course, we all grew up eating, macaroni and cheese and watching TV and eating crappy food because that's how we were raised. And then at some point, in your 20s, hopefully, or at some point, and drinking and all this kind of stuff, your values started to change. You start to value yourself more, and your habits change. What you consume changes, what goes in changes, and what comes out. This is why the second house is also what you speak, what you say. It's not just what goes in your mouth, it's what comes out of it. What is your speech like? That's why it's also related to speech, what comes out. How does your speech change when your values and your diet changes? Start putting some things in your mouth like, some alcohol or some drugs, and see what comes out of your mouth. A lot different than when you put some nice, khichdi and vegetables in your mouth and you're calm and peaceful. So this is our evolving value system. And the second house is an artha house. It's your personal values, your personal artha. Based on these values, we want to impact the world, for instance, in the 10th house, in our career. Based on these values, we feel like we're worth something. See, one of the main reasons people don't earn as much money as they like is they don't think they deserve it. They don't think they deserve it. You earn as much as you think you deserve. I guarantee you. I don't need to look at your chart. I already know. You earn as much as you think you deserve. And this is why when people invest in things, like let's say they take their money and they invest in an education and spend all that money, they now feel like, look, I'm valuable, I deserve this. You're not going to invest in an education and then go back and work at the restaurant for tips again. If you worked at the restaurant for tips to pay your way through school, then once you get the degree, you're not going to want to work at the restaurant anymore because your values have changed and you understand that you have more value now. And then at some point, your values, again, they stop being about money. Like I said at the beginning, we tend to put it all around money. Okay, well, it's money. No, ultimately, we don't want our work to be just how much money we can make. We want it to be an expression of what? Our values, what we value the most. Take a look at this connection. How many people go to school, get a degree based on the values of their family, what their family wanted them to do? Then they get a job, they get a career that they don't even like. Then they have to, as they discover their own values, then they need to change course and try to earn their money based on what really turns them on and the way they want to impact the world. So again, it's this evolving value equation. That's what the second house is about. You getting clear about your values, not the values that your parents had for you. Not that, if you turn into some crazy astrologer or some crazy artist, you're going to upset your family because they want you to be a programmer or an engineer. So you go get the engineer and programmer job because your parents are going to pay for it. And if they don't like it, then you're going to disappoint them. Then you wind up not really liking it, or you suffer through it anyway, and then you get a job you don't like. Meanwhile, you're making plenty of money, but you're disconnected from your values. And you dream of being a dancer or an astrologer or something that you never went for. Very important to understand this value equation. So the second house, the evolutionary principle and process of the second house is from physical artha and wealth, like money, and trading our highest value for money, which is the tamasic physical expression of the second house, to the emotional value that we exchange with other people, mainly our comfort zone, the people around us that are a reflection of our inner values, to the highest artha and the highest value, which is connected to God and the highest truth that we're here to express. You see, one of the big crises of the second house is when we don't express ourselves properly, like I said, or we don't express ourselves correct with who we are. Finding your unique voice. How much is finding your unique voice connected to values? And how valuable is that to find your own unique voice? This is where that value equation falls apart as it's evolving. I don't know my own voice because I sold it down the drain to please my parents. Ooh, hard. Or I'm afraid to step out and express myself because what are all my friends going to think? And I'm in my little comfort zone where everybody reflects back, oh, we approve of you the way you are. Don't change or we're not going to like it. See, these are the ways we sell ourselves out in the second house. And ultimately, we wind up having to say, the heck with all of that. This is more valuable to me than all of that to express myself in the highest way that I was here to do. I'm here to express myself this way. And again, you can go back to the first house and say, it's based on my unique self. This is who I truly am. Back to the first house of your unique self, your true self. This is who I truly am, and I have to express it. Again, when you lose yourself in the roles of the first house, then you're confused in the second house. This is why it flows that way.